Hey, welcome everybody. Are we on?
We are on.
Are we on TerpTalk.com?
No, you have to put that link up.
That's not on.
That's not on.
Where can I go?
Right now it's on Wayne Terp on the YouTube channel. I sent links out to several people. But really, folks, this is our debut show of TerpTalk GameDay. Today we're brought to you by Viener Consulting, and it's great.
And Meyer Consulting.
And Meyer Consulting Engineers of Rockville. That's right, Bruce. So for those of us who didn't pop in before we get started here, you still look like the sports Terminator. What's going on?
Well, it was a little LASIK laser surgery I had performed over at Howard Levin's office, Levin Eye Care. What a great company. And the bright lights kind of affect me.
How about the big city? Does the big city get to you?
Big city doesn't get to me, but I tell you what does get to me. I talked to Randy about it yesterday. Enough talk. Let's play football.
It's been a while. We've been waiting.
It's been too long. And here's a key question, Wayne. Are you worried today?
A little bit. Just a little bit, because Richmond's ranked 18th in the FCS.
Right.
Mason saw number 12 in the FCS, which is Montana.
Right.
Play their number one team. That looked like good football. I mean, these guys aren't your classic pushover.
Montana played North Dakota State.
And beat them.
Well, North Dakota State, for a long time, that's the team that really beat Towson in the FCS championship a few years back. I think they were on some kind of insane winning streak.
Yeah, they've been in the national championship for the last 5 years, North Dakota State, and they look like it. That was real football. That was a heck of a game. So, yeah, I'm a little concerned. I'm a little concerned because really we have a new starting quarterback. We've changed the style of the offense. We've got a new defense. What are your concerns today?
One concern and one concern only, and that is how will Perry Hills play? I think that's the real key factor, Wayne, that how does Perry Hills play today? Now, he won the competition.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So he deserved to be the quarterback. I've got to see him perform. I've got to see him make the plays. The one thing that I think he can do, which I think Etzel's very interested in, and that is if you watched Michigan play Utah the other day, all right, Coach Harbaugh's first game.
Yeah.
You notice they lost the game with 2 interceptions in the end zone and a missed field goal. Now, why do I bring up those stats? They didn't manage the game right.
No,
right.
I think they lost the game throughout the game. They had a guy who just couldn't deliver the ball where it's supposed to be delivered.
Right, toward the end of the game, he gets hot, and they made a good comeback, and I'm sure they're a good team. But I don't think Etzel wants that. And you get a little bit of that with Caleb Rowe. Dax Garman's the unknown. They know why they like him or they don't like him. Me and you saw him at the open scrimmage day for the entire public.
2 weeks ago.
Right, and he played well.
And you said that on our post-game video that you can find on TerpTalk.com.
And that being said, Perry Hills won the award, and you know as well as I do when Etzel announced it after that game that Perry Hills was, deeply in the lead. You and I both knew that nothing was going to happen to change that game because he didn't do anything wrong.
No.
Will likely made a great interception against him, but that was it.
Well, nobody's saying that we've got Johnny Unitas coming in to play quarterback. And these guys, we're not talking about perfect. This was an open competition. There's a reason there was a competition. And, yeah, Hills wins the competition, and I think that running the Big Ten style offense we have, it's a good fit. Maryland changed the style. And we're used to having a quarterback who's running an option look, running a zone read. Maryland goes away from that for 2015 to a traditional drop back, sort of an eye back look. We're going to hand the ball off, and the tailback's going to attack the line, not from the edge, but from deep in the back.
And let's be real, that might be one of the strengths of the team are our backs. Wes Brown, Brandon Ross, and is it Ty Johnson?
Ty Johnson, number 6. He's a freshman from, where's he from, Jordan? Cumberland? He's from Fort Hill in Cumberland, Maryland. He's going to get some run as your third down back. Boy, did he look as fast as advertised, Bruce, when we saw him 2 weeks ago.
A lot of football experts say today that the strength that you need is always in the lines, all right? offensive line, defensive line.
Yeah, it's funny because that's how people used to talk when I was a little kid.
The trenches.
And then it went away, and you got linebackers and receivers, and all the money went that way. Now it's back to you have to have the offensive line.
Okay, you have to have both sides of the line. But the two factors that get you beat, they will wear you down. Two of the factors that get you beat are your secondary, all right, for sure, and your tight ends. And I love the secondary of the University of Maryland, with Will Likely leading the way, and Sean Davis, and is it Nixon
and Hendy.
And A.J. Hendy, if you remember, had that great interception for a touchdown against West Virginia a few years back. Then he was off last year?
He was off.
Okay, so he's back. We got some experience there.
Oh,
Hard
absolutely.
to believe that Will Likely is a junior already.
And an All-American candidate.
Yes.
And probably the best guy we've got. If you run that pound-for-pound thing, he's the best, certainly the best guy pound-for-pound.
Without question. So I like that aspect of it. Look, we're 3 touchdown favorites today, 19 points or 20 points. I'll be honest with you. I read that. I could not find the spread on the game. To me, it's probably off the boards. But my point being, this is a game they need to win. They need to win easy. I don't think they're going to win easy. I really don't.
I saw when Terrapin Times, the Scout Rivals, all of them put out the guess the score and why. Saw some 40-10s. Most of what I saw from people who are supposed to know are 23-10. Maryland scores late to put the game away, 30-13, but not 50-0. I mean, this is a game.
I'm not sure this is an offense that's built to score more than 24 points.
Most of the people who had a lot of points for Maryland put down a touchdown for Will Likely, touchdown for the special teams. So the offense would score 21 points. Will Likely gets a pick 6, return a kick, and suddenly you got 35 points on the board and you look great.
Will Likely is, let me tell you, when you're returning kickoffs and punts and you're that kind of a defensive back who gambles a little bit, he is really the key to this team. And that's strange.
All right, well, try this one. Been trying to read everything to be really ready for Richmond because we don't get to see a lot about Richmond.
The Spiders?
The Spiders.
Okay.
People ask him, when are you going to give Will Likely a shot on offense? He's so good with the ball. Why would you just leave him on defensive kick returns? And I think the answer is because he can't play 60 minutes a game.
That's a funny thing. I never really thought much about that, but that's not a bad point. You have to be able to adjust it to win. What do I mean by that? I remember Belichick when he took was it Walker or the other guy?
There was a guy who played both ways.
He played both ways because he had to.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying Will Likely is going to play every offensive play, but to have a package for him would not be that. I don't think that'd be that wrong. But look, we got to keep him healthy. He's been healthy the first 2 years.
Oh, absolutely.
But has he missed any games?
Dude, injury? Not that I recall.
I don't remember.
That's a good point on that side because I remember like Jermaine Lewis when we had Jermaine.
Right.
And he was the focal point of return kickoffs, punts. He was the ace receiver,
slot.
But he kept getting hurt. And I think about Diggs, about that size. Ace guy, returned everything. Offense ran. If he got him the ball, kept getting hurt. Will Likely, maybe it's because he's playing on defense, has been able to do a lot of that, but he's not the guy getting hit so much. So he's been able to stay on the field. The biggest, you got to use them. These are real games. But I'm afraid of getting him hit too much.
Yeah, but you know what? You got 12 games. Today's one game.
Yeah.
When today ends, 8.5% of the season's over.
Yeah.
This is not exhibition ball. All right. This is a game that counts toward your record. It'll be the last. Is it the last BCS game that counts? I think next year.
FCS. We have Howard coming in already. We have Towson already on
the schedule. They must count.
Once those games end, we are
it.
not going to schedule any more what used to be called D2 games, now called FCS. Let me go over to some Richmond notes. Richmond's coached by Danny Rocco.
Right.
Danny coached with Randy Edsel under Tom Coughlin at Boston College. So they have some shared history. Last year, first time that Richmond makes the playoffs since 2009. They defeated Morgan State, lost to Coastal Carolina. Was riding in with Jordan, who's doing some engineering for us today. And thanks for coming in, Jordan, who brought up that the Spiders, first of all, their number one receiver, his last name is Diggs. And they really have a pretty good running back. They have a pretty good quarterback. And this really isn't a pushover game. But other than Reggie Diggs, wide receiver named Brian Brown, and a linebacker named Omar Howard, big pieces to this team that's supposed to be the 18th best D2 team in the country. Maryland's played Richmond 19 times. And to answer the question, yes, Richmond did win one game at least, the most recent, 1946.
46. When was the first game played?
1907. I don't know if I have it in front of me. I saw it sometime.
Probably a 6-0 game. You ever notice the games way back were exceptionally low scoring?
Except that one Georgia Tech game that they beat, I can't remember, 246-0. So there was that one. So this guy, Rocco, has a pretty good record. He's graduated from Wake. He's been at Richmond in 4 years. He's 23-14. He's 70-34. Of course, he's never played Maryland.
Wayne, let's be real.
Yeah.
All right, let's get it real.
I'm going to give him some props.
I hear you.
Don't dislike him.
Let's be real. The one bad thing about playing these games with Bowling Green and South Florida and Richmond is what?
It's the biggest game for them, and we're just trying to get through it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can say our engineer for Sports Maven is on. We're doing a little YouTube show there.
Come on, you want to come in and wave? Come on in.
There he is. He is our center on our TerpTalk basketball team.
Right.
I'm not sure he can play, but I mean, he's our center.
Right.
Anybody who's
When we walk through the airport, they go,
It's
look at
impressive.
that.
when we take the court, we look good.
We do.
All right, there's no question.
You got the aging guard look and then the young center. Yeah, so it's one of their biggest games of the year. Clearly, it's Richmond's only really big game out of the FCS of the year. And for us, it's something where we have to do well, or it's just not going to look so great on the Maryland resume. Do you care how much we win by?
No, I
We
just
win?
win.
Just
Well,
win.
I think who was the team we played in Perry Hill's first game? We beat them 7-6.
James Madison, that's in my notes. I remember Ohio coming in to College Park in 19.
Oh, they ran through us.
And they won. Yeah, but it was a low score. We couldn't do anything. I remembered 7-6 with James Madison. I remember some other games. Northern Illinois actually beat us.
Right.
That
That was on the road, though.
was on the road. And they were good at the time. But so just because we have an opening game, biggest upset in college football history was Appalachian State. Was it 5 years ago this week?
that was a lot bigger than this upset would be. But they can't. The problem with playing these games is that you can't afford to lose it. I mean, it would be devastating to lose this game,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't think they will.
Why don't we go back over the record here in a second? You are watching and listening to TerpTalk GameDay, presented today by Viener Consulting of Rockville. For your IT and business needs, call Viener Consulting at 301-251-2900. A proud Lenovo partner, proud Microsoft partner, and of course, it's a company we're very well affiliated with, but still, thanks to Viener Consulting for sponsoring today. We're at the CBS studios here in Baltimore. Bruce, what comes up at 9 o'clock from the CBS?
9 o'clock tonight. We got this morning. In fact, in about 15 minutes, we have the Sports Maven, where besides Richmond and Maryland, there's a ton of topics for us to get to today, and one of which, can you imagine Chris Davis? 2 more home runs last night. That's 4 home runs in 2 games. All right. It's going to become a very big talking point in Baltimore as to what happens to Chris Davis. Some news out of Maryland while we're talking. What a soccer game last night.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you see the end?
Oh, yeah, I saw the end.
Sabasso Endo, what a play.
Oh,
And then the freshman, who for some unknown reason took off his shirt. What was that thing he was wearing?
That's all anybody asked at home. I got one correction. It was William and Mary, not James Madison. We beat 7-6.
Right.
Thank you, intern Mason.
All right.
And so I'm talking to you. I went to the Wooten football game. You were coming back from golf?
I played golf yesterday then to get home in time to watch Maryland play UCLA. And number 1 UCLA. That was a big win. It really was. And what a game it was. But that play by Endo, I mean, to set it up.
So in overtime, if you haven't seen the highlights, look them up. Subasha Endo from the right side on the end closest to where they have the barbecue and all that end of the stadium, loses a defender, loops the ball to, what was the fellow's name who scored? I should have that in front of me.
He was a freshman, wasn't he?
Well, look that up.
Yeah, Andy or
Enley or something.
yeah, something like that.
And off the
I had
head
Sasha
into
the other
goal.
day.
Holy cow.
Are you aware of the fact when I started looking through the roster, I said, wait a minute, I know Milo Corbalez and I know Subaso Endo. 13 freshmen
Yeah, he
out of
brought
26 players.
Yeah, I talked to him on Tuesday, and we had an audio file. I had a great interview with him on Tuesday. Supposed to be up on TerpTalk, but you had him on the show.
Right.
He was pretty positive. Oh, what we talked about off camera was just what a great atmosphere coming to Maryland on Friday night.
84-49, a record crowd.
Yeah.
And when they pan the seats, and you know what that does the most for? It does the most for recruiting. When kids are good in soccer and they see that, there's no other place when you watch a soccer game, you know, that maybe when you see a game in Indiana, they usually draw a nice crowd, you know,
No. That Ludwig Field is the place to go see a soccer game. And the guys at the Big Ten Network and they put off switching over to the football game.
Well,
in Illinois.
it was
raining, but
yeah.
they still put it
I
off.
wonder what they would have done.
I tweeted about that. I haven't heard back, but I'm happy they stuck at Maryland. As the guys ran around the field after the game,
Right.
if that 30 seconds doesn't end up on the scoreboard, even at the football game, in the recruiting video for soccer, and what it means to be a Maryland fan at a basketball game, that is the engagement of the players with the fans. And no, I don't know what that sports bra thing was. It looked like everybody had one. My guess is that that's some sort of performance monitoring thing, and they're checking the heart rate and the blood pressure, and they're going to then run back and say, how in shape were you? Because you were out there for 60 minutes.
Right. But
It did look weird. It looked like the sports bras of the women's soccer team. They might have gotten dressed in the wrong locker room.
yeah, it was a big win. And field hockey lost. Shocker.
And that's Mason's
To BC, I couldn't believe it. 3-2.
caught up and then lost.
Yeah. That's
Field
shocking.
hockey, and wherever our stringer writer who loves field hockey,
Todd Carter.
Todd, is today, I know he's probably very upset. Jordan, what do you want to tell me?
Sebastian Enley scored the winning goal.
Enley.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah, so we end up with like a 6'4" power forward on the soccer team. Basketball must be doing great if you have 6'4" power forwards on your soccer team.
It's just a great play. And I tell you one thing, he enjoyed the celebration.
Oh my God. But as high as their defender jumped and the Euclid goalie jumped, Enley out jumped. You think of soccer's just running. When Endo threw that high cross, I'm sure he knew that his guy could get up. I mean, he must have had his head 8.5, 9 feet off the ground and had that in.
Well, he was, you know who
Flat out
that,
beat
you know who
everybody
that
else.
reminds me of? Omar Gonzalez. That's how Maryland won the national championship. Omar was a defender, but on corner kicks, Omar was in the attack zone.
Yeah, but Omar was a big guy.
Oh, yeah, I think he's about 6'7" or
Yeah.
something. And he does it for Team USA.
Right.
So when you go to that level,
Yeah.
Omar is the real deal.
Hey, I know it's supposed to be about Maryland, but give me 30 seconds on Team USA. I know you follow that stuff.
You know what? 2 goals for Jose Altidore yesterday to defeat Peru. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't watch it because I was watching. The Maryland UCL game was more important to me than a friendly.
Oh, sure.
All right. If it was a World Cup, it's another story. But a friendly was a friendly. But that's all I know is Altidore. I don't know who from Maryland played in the game. I don't know if Zuzi played or Omar played. But it was a big win for Team USA. We're out of time. We got to do predictions, Wayne.
We do. We got about 2 minutes. Number one prediction is, who's your star of the game?
My star of the game today is Brandon Ross. All right. I think Brandon Ross rushes for 100 yards, and Maryland controls the game. And Brad Craddock, who's always the star of the game, kicks 3 field goals, and Maryland gets, like you said, a special teams, a defensive touchdown, gets 1 regular touchdown, and that's 23, and I say Richmond only gets 10 points.
All right. I'm going to pick a defensive star of the game. I want one of these linebackers you haven't heard a lot about. I'll pick the middle linebacker, Jermaine Carter Jr., for stepping up and stuffing the Richmond run game. And I'm also really interested to see this big offensive line. I'm going to give Maryland 3 more points, a couple more field goals, 26-13 Terps. And in closing, one of the notes, I went in the bookstore, I took some pictures, put them up on Twitter. They're on the TerpTalk.com page. Maryland must be the only school in America that has the Kickers jersey as the jersey of the year in the bookstore.
Number 15 and well deserved. And Randy says he's also a team leader, like in the locker room, and kids look up to him. And let's face it, we'll be seeing him this year on Saturdays, next year on Sundays, because he's the real deal. He really is a Matt Stover disciple. And you know what's even better than that?
What?
We have Adam Green right behind him, another Stover disciple who's played in Craddock's shadow, who's fantastic. We've watched him in warm-ups.
Right. Probably a new starter is the punter today, Nicholas Pritchard. So talking kick game there. And I do think that Will Likely's going to really make an impact on specials.
And our buddy is starting at center, Evan Mulrooney.
Mulrooney, yeah. Sal Conaboy leaves it to Evan Mulrooney. And anytime you get to close an offensive lineman, it's a good close for the show. This has been the pilot, and the first edition of TerpTalk GameDay. Bruce, thanks for getting up early to do this.
Hey.
Thanks to CBS Sports for letting us do
And
this.
thank you to Meyer Consulting. Tell them about Meyer Consulting.
Well, Meyer Consulting Engineers in Rockville. If you're going to build a structure, a parking deck, an arena, something big, something important, and you need the inspection services, you need people to review the blueprints, you need the engineering services of a true professional organization, you want Meyer Consulting Engineers of Rockville. That's mcecorp.com on the web. And thank you for your sponsorship. And they'll be sponsoring our post-game, TerpTalk post-game videos, and we'll have a post-game today. For those of you watching this live, click over to the TerpTalk.com website and click Listen Live to the Sports Babe that comes up according to the studio clock in 4 minutes and 56 seconds. So we got a scoop. Thanks again to Viener Consulting, Meyer Consulting Engineers, to Bruce Posner. This is Wayne Viener.
And Jordan.
Engineering intern Jordan. Mason, the intern Freddie. We'll get to you next week. Go Terps.